How to get over fears of networking, especially as someone who's not from a wealthy background. I'm Dr. Anna Kalschmidt. I'm an industrial organizational psychologist, and I research the unwritten rules of work for people from the working class, neurodivergence, and intersections of race and gender. First, I'll say that I can still sometimes get nervous networking, but it's way easier. Just because you're afraid of it doesn't mean you don't do it, right? Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's doing it. So when I know I'm going to network and it's going to take a lot of energy out of me because I'm an introvert, first I make sure to be kind to myself and hopefully the hour leading up to the networking session, whether that's watching a TV show I like or reading a book that I'm enjoying, trying to take a few minutes to just sit and breathe and not be consuming information. That's hard for me, but I try to do it. I'm a big music person, so as I'm going to the event, whether walking on the metro or whatever, I'm also listening to music that I enjoy, and that hypes me up. Two, I set a very small goal. Very small, very attainable. I remind myself I do not have to talk to everybody in the room. That is overwhelming to me as a neurodivergent. I set a goal of I am going to meet one new person today. And after that, I'm allowed to go home. And almost every time after one person, they will inevitably introduce me to someone else, and I might be having a better time than I realize. But sometimes one is enough, and I go home and I realize I did what I could. Three, I lean into my strengths. What is it that your friends like about you? I'm a very silly person. I really like humor. I usually try to make the other person laugh. It makes them feel at ease if they're nervous too, and it gives them something to remember me by. There's this great book called Humor Seriously, and it talks about the power of using humor at work and how to use it appropriately. It is research-based, and both of the authors did stand-up and improv. Raquel and I did an episode on my favorite findings from it and takeaways. It's about an hour long. It's in this playlist, The Purpose-Driven Workplace, and it's episode number 8, Help Your Employees Laugh So They Don't Cry. The number one thing that's going to make you a great networker is listening, asking questions and listening. People love to talk about themselves. So Google open-ended questions, maybe draft some open-ended questions to help you prepare if you're nervous, but mostly just listen and get in the practice of paraphrasing back to people what they said, not repeating word for word, paraphrasing. It shows that you listened and you understood and you didn't just regurgitate their words. Sometimes an interviewing technique for qualitative research is just repeat the last word they said. It makes them elaborate more. If somebody says they're going on vacation, just say it in a questioning tone. They'll keep going. I also set a goal of trying to find one thing about each conversation that I can follow up with them on LinkedIn about later, especially if it's personal. Business cards are fading out right now, and a lot of people just do virtual swaps, but I used to write on the back of people's business cards something specific about my conversation with them that I would then go to LinkedIn, send a connection request, and add a note, which you can do for free. You don't need InMail for, about something they said. If it's professional and it's something to follow up on, great. But even if you didn't have a groundbreaking revelation or come across as a perfect fit for a role they're hiring for, even if they mention something about their kids or that their dog or something, show you listened and connect, and it sparks a conversation. And people so rarely feel heard that goes a long way. What are your networking tips? Tell us in the comments.